Good morning, everybody. First of all, my name is Christine O'Kelly. I'm the Age-Friendly Coordinator for Dublin City University, who is now leading a global university network of age-friendly universities around the world. First of all, I would like to begin by thanking the organisers for the events today, and especially my grateful thanks to Professor Kalash for the fantastic championing he has been doing for us on the Age-Friendly University Initiative. And I also want to say special thanks today to the technical staff here who spent the last half an hour helping me to get my presentation organised, so thank you for that. So just to begin, the history and progress of the Age-Friendly University is what I'm going to speak about this morning. And I'm just going to give a brief overview of Dublin City University, what ignited our interest and how we developed it, our 10 principles, the milestones, the structure, opportunities, impact on DCU. There's a small video as well, so I'll try and stick to I'll be within the time. So I just want to make sure everybody can understand me. Yes? Not speaking too fast. Okay. So a little bit about Dublin City University. It's a small university and one of the youngest universities in Ireland. We are celebrating 40 years next year, and we originally were set up to deal with industry. So our university is a university of technology and industry and enterprise. So you can see we do not have any expertise in ageing. We're not a medical facility, we don't have a hospital attached to us. We have a school of nursing, and we have the largest institute of education in Europe, which deals with people from early childhood education right up to our Age-Friendly University Initiative. It's pioneered, so DCU has been exceptional in that it's been a very forward-thinking university, and it has pioneered some very major changes in the Irish university sector. For example, since the very beginning, our students have to take a third year in industry placement. So if they're nursing, they have to be in there for the third year, they spend a year with the nursing schools. If they're working in IT, they're expended in the IT industry. So the result of that is our students have a 98% employability rate. They're very well sought after because they're both academically qualified, and also they have that experience that industry looks for. And that's quite hard to get when you're starting off as a student. The other thing we pioneered was an access programme. And the access programme allows students who are from disadvantaged communities to come into our university. And over the past 40 years, we've put 10,000 students through our access programme. And one of these students has gone on to become the president of the University of South East Australia. So we're very proud of this fact that it's not about where you come from or how much money you have that you can come to the university. That people have, if you build capacity in people and provide the opportunities, they will excel. One of the most interesting things we also have in DCU is academic credit for volunteering. And this is very important for our students. So in addition to our students doing their academic work, they also get credited for any volunteering that they do in the university. And I think as a pioneering institution, I'm very proud to work for an organisation that's so forward-thinking, and I think there's no better example of this than the Age-Friendly University initiative that we have rolled out in DCU. So why did we do it? Well, we looked at the rising demographics in Ireland in particular. We started looking at Ireland, and we saw that we only have 11% of our population are over 65. We have one of the smallest ageing populations in Europe, but we have one of the fastest growing. So we know that that's going to more than double between now and 2040. We also looked at the economic value of ageing. We looked at the impact on our economy, and we looked at the amount of money that's in the server economy in Europe in terms of assisted living technology products and new types of products to deal with the ageing sector. And we thought the university has an opportunity here to develop some of this. We looked at the technological advances in ageing, as I said, the assisted living technology. We also looked at things that allowed the development of people to live in their own homes for as long as possible, and other ancillary things like a health app for the phone. We have a remote access programme. So we've got a lot of things going on there, and we've been very, very successful at achieving a lot of funding from Europe to develop our projects. And of course, we always do this with older people. I'll talk about that in a moment. The other thing too is the social engagement. There is nothing more important in getting older people into our university than the social aspect. It's very difficult at one age to make new friends and to go for things alone. And this is one of the things we found in the university, that when we invited people to come to the university, they've become a whole social network of their own within the university, and they're completely integrated into our campus. So our coffee shops, our library, our hair salons, our news agents, the older people come to those things, and then of course they get to know that there's activities going on in the university that they can take part in. And that has created a subgroup, which we call our university, our 3LA, which is our Lifelong Learning Association, and they have a social aspect. So they do visits around the country to museums in different parts of the countries. We do fact-finding trips. We were in Brussels with them last year on institutions of the European Union. So there's a social aspect to the whole university programme as well. And we also do that with our students. The students and older people go together. And then finally, the political ability of older people. We know in Ireland older people are very politically active. They vote. And our politicians, to be frank, are very afraid of our older people because they know that they have the power and they use it. And I can demonstrate this, that a number of years ago, the government decided to withdraw a medical card which is free to all older people in the state. They decided to withdraw the medical card and means test it. And the older people, 70,000 of them came out on the streets of Dublin, and by the end of that day the government had changed the legislation and reverted back. So they really are a very powerful voting cohort that the government take interest in. So in DCU primarily there are three reasons why we have the age-friendly university. The lifelong learning element is very important. Also the innovation and related opportunities around different types of research and engaged research. And then of course societal transformation, which to me is the most important thing of all, because we have our students. And our students are the leaders and employers of tomorrow. And unless we integrate older people in with our students in the programmes, you will find that that's what really generates real change and breaks down the whole attitude towards ageism. And that's on both sides of the divide. So I think as a university, we looked at this and said we have to be prepared. We have to look at how can we do this in a university setting. So we developed 10 principles of an age-friendly university. I'm not going to read them out because they're outside on a postcard and you can see that they're developed here and you can have a look at them. I know that not everybody speaks English, but really it's around these areas, around participation, personal and career development, educational needs, intergenerational learning, and of course online learning, which is a big factor in the university for people who are still working but maybe over 55 and are still in the workforce and they want to retrain or have new opportunities for other types of learning. And then of course the other thing we have is informing the research agenda. It's very, very important for us in the university sector that are doing research on ageing to have the experts in ageing involved in that research, and that means engaging with the older population. So people come into the university, we have people coming in doing a programme, and they also take part in our research, they inform our research, and they also are involved in the research from the very beginning of a project. So when we start making a research application that involves anything around ageing, we have older people in that dialogue, from naming the project, saying how usable it is, testing the project, piloting the project. And this weekend in Dublin, we're involved in a major programme with H2020, big funding opportunity around developing an online health platform. And in fact, we're having a hackathon where all software developers come in and they play around with ideas, and there's a prize for this. And we've had older people involved in the project from the very beginning. And in fact, they're not only on the judging panel, but they've also been trialling the existing platform that we have. So this is an upgrade to that platform. So then the other thing we have is enhanced access for people to come in. So we relax the criteria for membership for coming into the university. And of course, regular dialogue with older people and older people's organisations. We can't do this without the older people's input. You know, it's not about doing something to older people, it's doing something with older people. And that's a very strong message we have in DCU. So this is just a slide that shows the milestones that we've had in the Age-Friendly Network. We were inspired by the work of the Age-Friendly Cities programme, and Ireland as a country is leading on this at a European level. We have age-friendly in every single part of our country. We have older people's networks in every part of our country. We've been really engaged in the whole process. I'm involved at a national level on the board of Age-Friendly Ireland, and I'm on 2 of the local alliances, north and south of Dublin, and 1 out in a rural community. And I think it's very important for older people. It's a genuine and authentic dialogue. It's not just lip service. And last year we had a great opportunity to have a webinar with the residents in Arizona State in Phoenix, where they were just starting on the age-friendly program and looking at how they developed it in their own city. So I thought it would be very interesting for them to speak with Irish people who've actually implemented this in their own environments and what they could get from the learning, and that was really successful. So you can see here that we developed the 10 principles between 2010 in the working group. We had all of the stakeholders, older people's organisations and older people, staff from the college, our students from our college, and we put them all together and we came up with the 10 principles of an age-friendly university. We then launched those in 2012, which was the European Year of Intergenerational Solidarity. And since then we've had 2 European and 2 international conferences, and we're doing our next conference now next June. And then of course we now have 58 universities in our global network. Universities that looked at this and thought, you know, we could really use this as a framework, as a dialogue on ageing. So it looked at distilling all of the things that were going on in ageing in universities and really embracing it as a concept and with their students and seeing how it would work out in their institution. So we've been really delighted with this because it was totally unexpected and unplanned, and it just happened organically. And some of the institutions, when people used to join, they write to our president and they tell me what they're doing. They map the 10 principles against the activities of the university, and they talk about what they're doing. And sometimes it's around maybe meeting some elements of a university strategic plan, or sometimes it's about having more cohesive attention on ageing. And it's been very interesting to see the universities that are doing this, the variety of them, that we're not restricted about people joining. And what we have is very small, sometimes liberal universities in the States, and then we have a lot of universities that are huge medical facilities and they're really fantastic in other aspects. So I think it's grown organically and it's grown holistically, and I think it's going to continue to do that because it means that we have a much richer combination of people all contributing to the dialogue on this subject of ageing. So in the university, when I first came in 2014, it was very difficult to navigate between the university faculties. We have 5 faculties and 10 schools, and trying to know who are the right people to speak to is quite challenging. So I started to look at it over these areas, and I divided it into research and innovation. You can see here teaching and learning, lifelong learning, intergenerational learning, on-core career and enterprise, civic engagement, and the last one I've added in the last 2 years has been institutional change. And this meant that I could identify champions in the university that would lead on this. So they're not exclusive, they all work together. And it meant that we had a much more cohesive response to the age-friendly 10 principles as well. And then I mentioned about organisations we work with. So these organisations form a part of our expert advisory panel. They represent older people right across the whole island of Ireland. And the Irish Senior Citizens Parliament represents 36,000 older people. They're a very strong, politically active, engaged group of older people in the country. And they have a seat at government level in consultation. We have a national positive ageing strategy, which I'm actually involved in also. And all of these organisations, it's a very consultative process in Ireland, come and engage with government, and this is informing our blueprint for how Ireland will age up to 2050. We've added in institutional change in the last 3 years to look at how our institution looks at employment legislation and policies around ageing. And to this end, we've had developed a number of different programs. All staff in the university do unconscious bias training, so they're looking at their bias towards ageing or gender or any of these other areas. We also have a program for staff who are caring for an older person, an older spouse, or somebody in their life that's older, to support them. And it's not about the practical supports, it's about the emotional supports and dealing with something that has an effect that people don't plan for, And then they find they're in a situation where they may need more flexible work hours, or they need to be at home more often, so we accommodate that. And then we have a counselling support service for, if you have, if you're in a crisis emotionally, because there's a lot of interaction that goes on with siblings when your parent has to go into a home, and there's division in the family about what's best and all of these things. So we have this support system in DCU. So I should have said as well, with all of those organisations, we work with them all individually as well. So they have a number of programs. We have Operation Conversation, which is a walk, an intergenerational walk in the park. We have the Silver Surfer Awards, which we give to older people recognising IT skills. We also have a number of small projects around housing, around immigration, around care in the community, and we work with them all of the time. There's all these projects running along in DCU in tandem with the main work of the university, and of course our students are completely engaged in this. So we looked at what older people wanted from a learning experience, and we saw that they wanted instrumental education, and they also wanted effective learning experiences. So they wanted to engage in the classroom with tutors that knew their topic, and that there was a two-way dialogue, and that they were able to contribute to that dialogue, and it was interesting and it was informative. And Professor Kalash said yesterday about curiosity, and this was very interesting because it ignited curiosity. So we've been doing all of this work, and we asked people then, what do you think about coming to university in the evening, or what do you think of coming to university in a special group? And what we have worked at in DCU is, initially we had older people coming as a homogenous group coming into the university, and they were sort of over there. But now, in the last 4 years, what we decided to do is integrate them. So it's very, very important to integrate them into the existing undergraduate programme. So it's possible to come to DCU and sit in on an undergraduate module and take the whole module, take the learning from it, but you don't have to do the exams. And you're treated like a regular student, you get a student card, access to all of the facilities in the university, and in actual fact, the organisation I mentioned at the beginning, the 3LA, the Lifelong Learning Association in DCU, is a member of our clubs and society, so they have a standing in the university. They're completely embedded. So these are some of the things I mentioned. They can do a module for audit. You can also take it for credit. So you can take the module and do the exams and get credit for it towards a major award. And you can take part in customized wellness programs. We had a gymnasium that was largely empty, and we have programs there for older people during the day. And we have 900 people now coming in on our Active for Life program. We previously had a program called MEDEX, which was a medically supervised exercise program. But that's now gone out of DCU and it's been rolled out nationally around Ireland to all of the different counties, some with our partner universities and other parts of the country. And that's fantastic because these people are getting out and exercising and staying well and positively active. We also have, as I mentioned, about older people taking part in our research and design and input as experts. They are the experts in ageing. I can't tell you how valuable that is to us. I have about 10 projects at the moment on the current projects where older people come, and one of the projects we're working on is a project called, it's with the University of Palermo, and in Italian, facile, I think means easy, but in English, facile means silly, not important. And it was very interesting because the professor I'm working with said, this is the project, we'll call it this, and then the older people said, no, that's not representative of that project at all. So from that area, we put those things and trialing the project, testing the project, saying, it'd be better if we could get this information or that information. We also have a project called GrandPad, which is around developing a specific smart tablet for older people, and it's completely developed by older people with an organisation called Acorn that we currently work with. And we've launched that throughout Ireland, and it's been hugely successful, and people are really like that. And you have to buy the product, but it's still, it's customised for people to use. The other thing too, a lot of older people, we have a mentoring program in DCU. So we have mentoring between senior staff and junior staff. We have mentoring between students and older people and students. So sometimes it's mentoring around an experience that an older person has that they can then share with staff or with students who are studying that particular subject. And then sometimes it's around maybe students who come from international countries, from other countries outside Ireland, or even indeed in Ireland in a rural community, who may be lonely, and they come to university for the first time in a big city, they don't know anybody, so we have a mentoring program for that. And some of our older people set up last year who were trained, we did a listening service. So we had a free phone number, and if somebody was feeling very low or unhappy, a student, they could phone the number and they would have someone to speak to. And we also have a buddy system as well. The other program we run is with one of our organisations. It's called Fórum. A Fórum means an Irish welcoming, and we have this going in the libraries in Ireland, and we do it in the DCU campus, where international students who may have a very good understanding of reading and writing English, they haven't got much spoken English, and they come in and have conversation in English with our older people. And it results in great friendships and fantastic social opportunities and engagement. And also some of the students have ended up living in older people's houses, because accommodation in Ireland is really a huge housing crisis at the moment, and they've developed, so we have a lot of PhD students, and if somebody's looking for accommodation, and we have a register, and other people can say, yes, I would like to have somebody living with me, and we have this. So there's a fee involved, but it's a very modest amount of money, but it's more around companionship, And I mentioned about mentoring between staff, where we have staff doing this now. So you can see that also older people act as ambassadors for DCU. We engage in our retirement program called Pathways Beyond Retirement. And it's all about meeting new friends and keeping the mind active. So I'm under pressure now for time, so I'm just going to quickly go through these. So the impact on DCU is about more diversity and visibility of older people on the campus, and contributing to research, challenging stereotypes, challenging our lecturers as well about how they lecture and how they have a multi-generational classroom now, and about contributing to the circular economy. And it also really, really impacts on how students see their own ageing process, and that's really important. These are just some photographs of some of the activities in DCU, and this is a video. I'm not too sure how you read it.
The Age-Friendly University Initiative is essentially about universities being agents of healthy and active aging within their communities. Dublin City University is committed to utilising all its assets to provide opportunities to older adults to engage in education, research, cultural and wellness activities that will enhance the quality of life for older adults as they grow.
I lead on the Change Project, which is DCU's Centre for Healthy Ageing. It's our vision for how we address the challenge of ageing. It involves a number of elements. A key element of that is the outreach to the local community and the education of the local community. But more importantly, the involvement of the local community in our research that addresses the challenge of ageing. The kind of research disciplines that we integrate under the Change umbrella are disciplines like ICT and technology platforms, how we might be able to use technology to be able to improve the quality of life of older adults, and our biomedical research in the area of chronic diseases that affect older adults, dementia, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, for example.
From the beginning, we totally supported the age-friendly university concept, and we think it's very important because a lot of older people may not have had the experience of being on a campus or third level education, or in fact second level education. So the programs that DCU are running find a lot of favour among our members.
It's an age-friendly campus that has provided me with one-on-one IT tuition, which enables me to do my banking and my holidays, use digital photography, my life writing, genealogy, and as the program expands, it opens up invaluable opportunities for me in my retirement.
Through the Age-Friendly University Global Network, DCU is taking a leadership role in preparing society to address the opportunities and challenges of our aging communities. It is very encouraging that so many universities in North America, Asia and Europe have already embraced the 10 principles of age-friendly universities. We look forward to welcoming more members across the world to join the network to make a significant impact on society over the coming decades.
So that's our video. It's very self-explanatory. I also have, if anybody's interested in joining us, we have a leaflet here, and I'm very happy to speak. I'll be here for tomorrow as well. And I'm just talking about what AFU partners are doing, but I'm going to be followed by my colleague from McMaster University, that's one of the Global Network members. And just thank you very much for your attention. And these are some questions that you might think about while I was speaking in the next speaker. Thank you very much.